I've been playing Fallout 4 for nearly 10 years at this point, and while I love the game, I feel like I've gotten a bit too used to it. Even on survival mode, the game's hardest difficulty, I find that there's no real challenge. As I've become older, I've gotten to more games like Stalker, Metro, and DayZ, and I wanted a hardcore experience like this from Fallout 4. That's why I decided to put together the ultimate hardcore survival mod list for Fallout 4. All mods will be down in the description below. Let's get into the video. The first mod we're starting out with is a pretty big one. Damn Apocalypse overhauls combat, radiation, the loot economy, and even power armor. Starting off with combat, guns are now way more dangerous. Locational damage matters so much more now. If you shoot something in the head with a high caliber, you're probably going to one-shot it. Keep in mind though, this applies to you as well. Radiation is more deadly too. There's 2 types of radiation and 4 ways to combat it. Radiation sickness is no joke either. It'll kill you in no time. You have to change the way you navigate irradiated areas. Places like the glowing sea are an even bigger challenge than they were before. Lastly, we have how this affects loot and power armor. Loot is all based on location now. If you're in a hospital, you'll find a lot more medicine. If you're in a military base, you'll find more ammo. Loot as a whole is a lot more rare. If a container isn't locked, you probably won't find anything in it. This means you're forced to use more low-level equipment and experiment with the gear you take. If you thought loot was rare, brace yourself for power armor. There's only a handful of sets out there in the world, period, so you'll be forced to stick with the one you have and upgrade it along the way. Don't worry though, it's definitely worth the trouble finding. This mod forces you to play in a way you've never played before, with equipment you probably never used, so it's going to make a good foundation for our list. Next I wanted to include some visual mods that'll make the world feel even more dead and hostile. There isn't a single mod that does this better than Polluted Climate. More or less, this mod just drains the visual life from the Commonwealth. Gone are the bright, vibrant colors of base game. Now, we have this putrid, stagnant gray that cakes the entire world. This is essential if you're going for a Stalker vibe in your playthrough. One of the biggest aspects of survival games is taking care of the player's needs, and luckily we have an excellent mod for this. Advanced Needs 76 adds a lot of features from Fallout 76, as well as adding new needs to keep up with. Not only do you need to eat, drink, and sleep, now you have to manage your hygiene, air quality, and even go to the bathroom. This adds a whole other level of immersion into the game. The mod also adds stuff like fishing, scavenging cars, and even chopping down trees. Maybe the best part of this mod is just how customizable it is. You can change almost every aspect to fit your liking. If making your character take a shit is just too much for you, turn it off. This is one of the most essential mods on the whole entire list. For my next mod, I'm going full New Vegas NPC by turning the Commonwealth into a nuclear winter. Fallout 2287 Nuclear Winter is a complete seasonal overhaul that adds a multitude of survival mechanics. You now have to worry about the cold in a way you've never had to before. You need to keep your core body temperature up, or else you'll gradually get more cold until you die. You can do this by wearing warm equipment, standing by a heat source, or going inside. You get colder faster by being exposed to high wind or getting wet. On top of this mod, we're also going to be running Ice Pick Overhaul. This gives us a nice looking, performance-friendly snowy wasteland. We're also going to be adding Winter Commonwealth Pines for some better winter tree textures, and Project Reality Footsteps for that tasty snow crunch. The last winter mod we're going to toss in there is Frozen Lakes and Rivers. As you can probably guess, this mod freezes many of the map's waterways, but it does it in a really realistic way. It doesn't just slap a sheet of ice on all the water in the game. Instead, some bodies of water are more frozen than others. With all these mods installed, the Commonwealth will be turned into a winter nuclear wasteland. It's cold and unforgiving, but there's also some beauty to be found in it. Nuclear Winter pairs nicely with Campsite, simple wasteland camping. This adds the ability to lay down craftable tents, sleeping bags, fire, and so much more. Considering survival mode only allows you to save while sleeping, having a portable bed you can put down is invaluable. The ability to make fire is also useful, considering the world now looks like this. I love that it adds some extra strategy to the game. Now before entering an enemy dungeon, you have the ability to set up a camp and take stock on your supplies. I'm a sucker for any game that allows me to take a step back and plan my next move. But at the end of the day, this is just a solid, immersive survival mod. In survival mode, your base carry weight is much lower, so we're going to add backpacks to the Commonwealth. This adds over 25 brand new wearable backpacks to the game, all while being extremely customizable. There are quite a few backpack mods out there that you can try, but none of them come close to the level of detail of this mod. I love how lore friendly they are. These look like they were ripped straight from the base game. Lastly, different backpacks suit different playstyles. Some have unique bonuses that might suit some players more than others, so you really need to experiment and see which one fits your playstyle. This would hardly be a survival mod video without a good gas mask mod, so we're going to be using gas masks of the wasteland. This mod adds wearable gas mask to the game, but it's not just a visual mod. You need these to survive outdoors. Much like the Metro games, you'll need to swap filters occasionally, so you'll constantly be hunting for them. Now this mod is super customizable, so we can actually change the conditions under which we need a mask. We can make it to where they're rarely needed, or 100% necessary for survival. This also affects the NPCs of the world too. Lastly, it adds a unique filter over the HUD, making it extremely immersive. This mod is a must-have for Metro fans. On the topic of Metro, we have our next mod, Subway Runner. This mod connects almost all the subway tunnels in the game. You can now navigate a good chunk of the map from underground. Don't get some idea in your head that this is safer though, because the subway tunnels are more than full of their own host of bad characters. Considering the overworld now looks like this, it's great to have the choice of braving the dark, dangerous Metro. I absolutely love this mod, and I have no idea how this wasn't in the base game. If you were a fan of the Metro tunnels in Fallout 3, or just looking for a new way to travel the map, this is a perfect fit for you. For our health, we're going to be using MAIM. MAIM takes a relatively simple healing system of vanilla Fallout 4 and turns it to a complete nightmare, in the best way. To start, we now have over 15 new healing items, ranging from morphine, tourniquets, and potassium iodine tablets. Each of these items have their own unique application, so you want to make sure you don't leave anything behind before leaving base. With these new healing items comes new ways to get injured. Not only do we have to manage our HP, but we now have pain, bleeding, and contusions. Each of these will give you a unique debuff if left untreated for too long, so you better keep up with them. This is one of my favorite mods on the entire list because it changes gameplay so much. Healing just isn't a simple button press now. You need to take time to analyze what's wrong and administer the right medication. It adds an extra layer of chaos on top of everything, which is what I set out to do with this mod list. For our last mod, we have a fun one. Zombie Walkers completely overhauls how feral ghouls work, turning them more into the classic zombie archetype. What they lack in speed is more than made up for in their sheer numbers. It's incredibly easy to get overrun, so you have to plan accordingly. Feral ghouls have always been terrifying in Fallout 4, but this just takes it to the next level. It really adds to the whole apocalyptic feel of this mod list. Those were just a few of my all-time favorite survival mods for Fallout 4. If you think you have any that would make the cut, please comment them down below. I'm always interested in finding new mods to add. If you liked the video, liking and subscribing helps the channel out a lot. I think that's all for me. Thanks for watching. Have a good day.